let me just see if I can share my screen right away so that we don't waste much time. Um, this is just an overview of what you should expect for an interview days if you are applying for a student affairs program or higher education program or any master's program or PhD program that requires an interview. This is what you should expect. So when we say an admission interview or graduate assistantship, it's just a formal process where prospective graduate students are evaluated for both entry into a graduate program and for a position as a graduate assistant. This interview typically assess your academic qualifications, professional skills, and contributions to the program or what you are bringing on board. So where you are coming from, they will just want to know about you academically. They also want to know about your professional skills, where you've been working, some of the skills that you are bringing on board, and then when they hire you into that particular position as a graduate assistant or when they admit you as a student, what are you bringing on board? It's not about what they can give you, but what can you also contribute to the program. And that is what interview, admission interviews and then graduate assistantship interview is all about. So um, the general ethics and preparation for admission interviews and or maybe graduate assistantship interview. I decided to put this thing together because you see most people are coming from like we are talking to international student right now, all right, and there is no one joining us here from the within the US and international students mostly like I said, we have international students who, for instance, Chiamaka like this, she's an international student, but she was in the US at the time she interviewed for her assistantship position or admission interview. So she came in person, but I was in Ghana at the time, so I joined online using Zoom and all that. You get it. So what it means is that you are going to use Zoom, Google Meet, Teams, whatever, WebEx, and all those things, those online resources to interview. And there are certain things that you should take into consideration before you go into that kind of interview. The first thing is make sure that because you're going to use technology, check your technology very well. If you are going to use a laptop, are you going to use a smartphone, which I will not recommend, but I mean, if that is the only thing you have, just go ahead and use it, all right? And if you are going to use internet, smartphone, laptop too, you need an internet. And where you are, if you are in Ghana, sometimes the network can be something else. And I don't know because it has happened to me before. There are times you are talking and you will freeze like something, and you just have to stop the meeting, restart all over again, and all that you see. So make sure you check your internet very well. Look for a place where internet connection is very, very strong. Or if you are in an area where maybe in Ghana, I can talk about Ghana. I don't know Nigeria that much, but I can talk about Ghana. If you know that the MTN is not good, you go for maybe you look for an alternative. Try and see if Vodafone works in your area. If Vodafone is not good, try and see or if you have Surfline or if you have an internet plan. Make sure that you have a very strong connection, so that at least when you connect to your laptop, you are not going to have that kind of hitches or break when you are speaking or you will not be frozen or something like that. And then in addition to that, make sure that you are in a very luminous place or environment where they can see you. You can also see them. Make sure that you are in a very luminous place or maybe a place where it is lighting enough for whoever you are speaking to, whether a professor or whether a graduate assistant, a host, sorry, an interviewer that you're speaking to in a graduate assistantship position. That person can see you very clearly, because the thing is that before you'll be invited for a graduate assistantship interview or an admission interview, that means that they've gone through your application, they've reviewed your CV, they've seen all your documents, all right? So they just want to know the person behind this application. They just want to see you face to face. I hope you're getting it. So make sure that you try as much as possible. Make sure that you try as much as possible to I lost thoughts because I was trying to figure out something, but I was talking about They're trying to see the person behind the whole application. So do not say, "Oh, I'll off my video. I will." That kind of hitches will not help you. That's the bottom line. So make sure that you are in a place where they can see you. The light is working. Everything is on. And in Ghana, too, electricity can be a problem. That's why I put over there power, because there was a time when I was interviewing for I have a personal experience when I was interviewing for my admission faculty interview. It's a professor. And at that particular point, I think it was just few minutes to the interview, about 30 minutes to the interview, then the light in my area went off. So I didn't know what to do at the time. So I have to quickly run to a nearby hotel, just pay for a room, and then I interviewed from that place. And the funny thing is that um just few minutes, about 25 minutes of 5 minutes to the interview, then the light came back, but I've paid already. So that's just part of the thing. Sometimes you have to sacrifice, you have to put in effort, you have to prepare for some of these things, and make sure that I will recommend that even if you have a laptop, you can borrow from a friend that, hey, I want to borrow your laptop for today, so that at least you have a spare one. If you have a smartphone, make sure that it is fully charged, and then you can even take someone's phone as a spare in case something. Do not leave any room for chances, something like that, and have an alternative for each one of them. And so that's the first thing. Make sure that your technology is working. Check everything. The second thing is that you make sure that you dress well. Some people think that, oh, because it is just an online interview, I can wear anything. Please and please and please make sure that if you are going for an interview in an office, whatever you wear, if you are interviewing online, wear the same thing. Wear the same thing, because it is an interview, just that you cannot be there in person. That's why they are giving you the opportunity to interview online. So do not think that, oh, maybe I can wear anything. And you'll be hearing that a lot. You'll be hearing that, be yourself. Oh, it doesn't matter. We just want to hear all those things. Please, they are all scum. Make sure that you dress well, present yourself very well. If you are going for an in-person interview, you wear, if you're a guy, you wear a shirt with maybe a tie. You can go ahead and do that. I am not saying wear a suit or something, but if you want to wear a suit, I don't have a problem with that. Go ahead. Make sure you dress well. Do not wear a t-shirt, maybe just imagine that you are going for an interview, and then you wear a t-shirt, and in front of the t-shirt they've written "fuck you" or "fuck you all niggas" or something like that, and you wear this kind of t-shirts for an interview. What do you expect? Or you are going for an interview and you are wearing a baseball cap, or you just wear something that make people it draws attention. I hope you get it. Do not wear a dress that will kind of distract whoever is interviewing you or something like that. So that is one thing that you should also take into consideration. Dress well. If you're a woman, if you're a lady, make sure you dress like a lady, very formal dressing, and then you do it that way. And then I'll have time for question and answers. So if you have any question, just put it in the chat. I'll come later on. I'll address them. And the third one I want to talk about is make sure that you log in on time. So do not wait or make whoever is about to interview you join the meeting. Wait for about 5 minutes or 20 minutes before you join. So whatever be the case, I would recommend sometimes even 15 minutes before the meeting will start. So if you're supposed to interview at maybe 10 a.m., make sure that by 9:45 you're already on or something. And that shows how proactive you are and all that. So make sure they couldn't get back until the interview ended. So make sure that you log in on time. And then the second one is to maintain a clear and undistracted background. When we talk about background, like if you look at what I have here right now, or where I'm sitting right now, you don't see anything like to pack, calendar behind me, or you don't see anything like some kind of something who dresses and all, like, how do you call it, background and all that. Make sure that your background doesn't distract whoever is make sure that your background doesn't distract whoever is interviewing you. All right. So your background is very clear, very plain. You can sit beside a wall. If you think you don't have a very good background, you can just blur yourself, or you can just use a very blur. WhatsApp, Zoom have all these kind of options. You can just blur your background and know what, like the person interviewing you will not see anything, or you can even choose a background from some of the options if only that works for you. But do not choose a background that would distract whoever the person who is interviewing you. And don't also take the interview for granted by you walking around. Let's say maybe you are in the train, you are at the train station, you are at the market, or you are walking somewhere at the Mokola or something like that, and you are interviewing or something. Like what we experience right now, I'll use as an example. You just walking around making noise, talking to someone else, or there are people talking at the background, and that doesn't speak well of you, and automatically you are being denied, and you don't even have to expect how do you call it, a response from them, because you are going to be denied if you are not somebody who very courteous, well mannered, yeah, that is it. And then the second one, the next one is so use sticky notes um, um, for references. So you are interviewing and it's online, all right, and the person who is interviewing you will only see the front of the camera, so you the picture, all right, and that is what the person interviewing you will see. But there are behind the camera, the person cannot see whatever you have posted on the wall and all those things. So you have to position the camera in a way that the person will not see some of the things. And it is not wrong to make references to whatever you. So for instance, when they ask you, tell me about yourself, how will you go about it? So you just have to sometimes say, I will talk about my academic background. I will talk about my current role, and then I'll talk about what I do. So that's how I will approach my when they ask me, tell me about yourself. That's how I will approach it. And in case you don't want to forget, you can just use sticky notes, write it, and then you will just post it on the wall in your room or something like that, where when you are interviewed, and in case you lost thought or something like that, you just smartly, the word is smartly, you do not let it seem like you are reading or you are looking elsewhere for notes or something like that, but you should be very smart about it, that smartly you just do that, and just to refresh your memory and all that. Make sure it's very smart, because do not let whoever is interviewing you see that you've written something, posted it on the wall, because it is not wrong. Even sometimes pastors do forget sermons and they just go back to their references that I wrote something down. So it is not wrong for you to also try to refresh your memory. There's nothing wrong with that. So, but make sure it is very professional. And then the last one is stay positive and confident, and be active in the entire process. When we talk about admission interview, it is not just one thing, like just one session. Sometimes you'll be invited for an interview. They will have a faculty panel where they will tell you about the program and what they have and all those things. And they will also go ahead and then talk about they have student panel. Students will come share the experience and how the program the experiences in the program and all that. And they have affinity spaces. So if you are a Black student, international students, white students, or whatever, they have affinity spaces. So how does all these kind of people use Shamaka, are you trying to say something?
Please ignore me. I'm just answering some questions. So
Okay, cool. I thought you were trying to
just ignore that, please.
Yeah, cool. All right. I thought you were trying to lay me on something. Right, that's cool. So try to make sure that you're active in the entire process, all right? Because there are times, like I said, they have all these panels, faculty panel, students panel, affinity spaces, and all those things. And then they even have a mock class that sometimes they will just send you some documents to read, and then they will assume, just a mock class, like they will give you a document for you to read, and how normal classes look like in the program. They will just organize that. Make sure that you participate in all of that. Do not take them for granted. Do not think that, oh, for the mock class I will not participate, or for the affinity space I will not join, or for the faculty panel I will not join, and all that. I personally like this kind of webinar is going to be very casual, very informal. We are sharing personal experiences and all that. So personally, I remember joining everything from morning till evening. And I did that for 3 days. It was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So for the 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I was just indoors, didn't go anywhere. Um, when they go for less 5 minutes break, I also go for 5 minutes break. When they come back and the next session is faculty panel, I'm on everywhere. You will see my face. So I was very active in everything. And that tells them that you are interested in the program and you really want to join, you really want to be there. And then it shows how interested you are, because if you are a bit passive and you show up here, you don't show up here, and all those things, they don't even remember you, they don't even know your face and all that. And wherever you go to, try to be loud. All right. What I mean by trying to be loud is that let them see that there is this international student from Guyana called Bennett who is about to, and all those things. And being loud means that you ask very good questions. You ask very thoughtful questions. Like I said, if there is a mock class, make sure that you read whatever document they will give you. They will ask you, don't, oh, it's not compulsory. You can choose not to read it and all that. It's not compulsory, just a mock class and all that. Please ignore what they are saying and make sure that take it like a World Cup, right? And read every single thing, jot down questions. If you don't understand anything, we said, oh, like during the mock class, when I was reading this, I came across this particular thing, I don't understand, what does it mean, and all those things. So make sure that you take every single thing during the interview process as like put in your heart, like it's very important. Do not think that I'll join this, I'll not join this, I'll not, no, don't do that. Join everything. And then like I said, stay calm, stay positive, and then be confident. Confidence has to do with you knowing what you're talking about, and no one knows you more than yourself. All right. So don't let it sound like you Google stuff, you Google questions, and then how to answer. For instance, when they ask me, tell me about yourself, you have Googled the best answer for tell me about yourself, and that's what you're going to say. Come on, Google doesn't know you more than yourself. All right. So just tell them who you are and say it confidently. Confidence has to do with just believing in what you're saying. Just speak up. That's what they want to hear. Just share your experiences. And then one most one more important thing, which sounds very funny. I didn't talk about it. I said it's an interview, not a court case. Let me reiterate that. You are not sitting or standing in a witness box for you to defend something that you've done, or you're not a criminal. It's just an interview. All right. So just lower, calm down. Do not let pressure. Do not feel pressured and all that. And one other thing is that do not also think they can't hear you or your English is not good, so you're trying to fake your accent and speak like an American just for them to get what you're saying. Please, the English they speak now, they will get it. Go ahead and speak that English. Don't fake your accent. Don't try to speak like America. You know what I'm saying? Blah blah blah. And we've heard that, oh, in America the T is D, so you are going to say water or something like that. Or maybe the O is, who is that one? The O is A is equal to A. So instead of God, you say God and all those things. Please, 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 please stick to yourself, be who you are, and they will perfectly understand you. So that is there's the general ethics, and then what you should expect during interview days. And there's an overview of how interview day goes and all that. So let's go to the main faculty interview, and we look at how the faculty interview is done. And with a faculty interview, it is just you going to meet a professor and talking more about your interest in the program. And you're just going to defend your SOP or statement of purpose or personal statement, because Mind you, before you be invited for a faculty interview, that means that they've read your SOP or personal statement. It looks great, and they just want to hear more of you, or they want you in the program. So it's more or less like you defending your personal statement or SOP or something like that. So with a faculty interview, like you said, you can see my screen. So let me go ahead. Begin and end with an appreciation of their time for the interview. That is the first thing that you should do. So when you are about to interview for like with a faculty member, as soon as the faculty member join you, whatever, before you even say anything, make sure that you thank the person for their time, appreciate them for who they are, and all those things. So you can say, hey, nice to meet you, Dr. Chiamaka. I do appreciate you making time for this particular interview. I know that you've been busy interviewing all these people, and then I appreciate you making time to interview me. I don't take it for granted at all. I'm very, very grateful. All right. So that is the first thing they even say. Even if the professor asks you a question like tell me about yourself or something like that, you should start with appreciation before you answer the question. So appreciate them for their time and everything, and then let them know that you truly value it. And you do the same thing when you about to sign out or after the whole interview too. You make sure that you thank them, you appreciate them and all that. And then the second thing, that in an interview too, there is no right answer, there is no wrong answer. All right, it is just a relevant answer that they are looking for. So for instance, if they tell me about yourself, and then you say that, oh, my name is Bennett, I am 72 years, I have 6 children. I am married to 2 wives and all those things. They are all true. So it is a true answer. It is not wrong. But the point is, how relevant is this thing regarding, concerning what you are interviewing for? I hope you're getting it. So make sure that you don't give irrelevant and unnecessary answers, but you stick to the main thing. Make it is relevant to whatever it is relevant to whatever you are position you're applying for. If faculty, you're talking to a professor. In this particular
How do you end?
case, it is
Finish.
an academic. Please mute yourself, please. It is an academic opportunity that you are looking for. So make sure that everything that you talk about relates to academics, all right? And then the third one is read about the faculty member read about the faculty member before your interview. Okay. So make sure that before you go for an interview, before an interview process will be scheduled for you, they will reach out to you in an email that hi Benjamin, or hello Anita, you are going to have a faculty interview with Professor Lou or maybe Dr. So and so on this particular date and all that. So you will not be it will not take you by surprise, you interviewing with somebody you don't know or something like that. By all means, you will know the professor's name, you know who they are and all those things. Make sure that you don't go to an interview without knowing who that kind of professor is. Whoever you are going to interview with, make sure that you you read about them, you know their research interest, because the thing is that that kind of interview decision will be made by that professor alone, because it is that professor who is going to interview you, and he or she or they will make that kind of decision. All right. So make sure that you know their interest, the things that you say, which is and things that you are going to say, which they will say, okay, cool. These are the kind of these are the kind of people that we are looking for in this program and all those things. So make sure you read about a professor very well. And this is something that you can get on Google Scholar, you can get on LinkedIn, you can get using if you just not just a normal Google search, you can get it and all those things. So read about the professors before you go into that interview. Then let's quickly jump into common interview questions that you should expect, and let's see how best you can answer these questions. So the first one is tell me about yourself, which is very, very common. And Chiamaka will talk about assistantship interviews, but whether assistantship interviews or a faculty interview or admission interview, this question is something that you're going to get. And the answer to it or how best you can approach this question is the same, whether it's a faculty interview or assistantship interview, is the same thing. They would have tell me about yourself, like I gave an example earlier. Your age, your demographics, like the food you like best, the music you like, you love to dance to, the tribe you are coming from, whether you are a Christian or you are a Muslim or all those things, they are all about yourself. But like I said, go back to the main thing that in an interview, there is no wrong answer, there is no right answer, but we only have a relevant answer. So this particular case, I'm talking about faculty interviews or admission interviews. So you are looking for an academic opportunity. We are looking for an academic opportunity. You are looking for an academic opportunity. Therefore, when they ask you to tell me about, when they ask you a question like, tell me about yourself, you are supposed to stick to your academic qualifications alone or your academic, something academic. So in this particular case, I give an example that tell me about yourself. You can talk about your name, your highest qualification. Please don't mention everything. Like if it is, mention only post-secondary qualifications. So don't talk about the primary school you attended, the high school you attended, all those things are unnecessary. Start from your first degree, all right? So your name, your highest qualification, current role and responsibilities, and make sure that it connects to student affairs or the program that you're applying for. So an example is my name is Godfrey G. My name is Godfrey D. I hold bachelor's degree in social science with a minor in economics from UCC. I graduated in 2023 and have been working with the Ghana Education Service from that time till date. I currently serve as DEI officer where I plan and implement events and promote diversity and inclusion in my school district. So this is a very simple, tell me about yourself, and this is how you can approach it. Please and please and please again, this is a public document now. I don't have a problem you using what I've written here, but make sure that you also don't dab the same thing, put in your words, and just imagine about 4 people on this platform right now applying to the same school and you are all going the same approach or something like that. It feels like, are you all using a template or something? So make sure that you and that's like just try to get what I'm saying and then craft your own way of approaching this kind of question. So you see that, let me explain this thing to you. So you see that this particular response, my name is Godfrey D. I talk about my name, and then the highest academic qualification, I talk about social science with minor in economics from UCC, and then talk about the time I graduated, and I also talked about working with the Ghana Education Service from from that time, which is 2020 to date. I talked about I currently serve as a DEI officer where I plan and implement events that promote diversity in my school district. So you could clearly tell that I am talking about myself, but I'm still connecting it to student affairs because student affairs program is based on social justice, based on diversity, equity, and inclusion, based on, working with minority students and all those things. So I am talking about myself, but I still connected it to student affairs. All right. So that is a way of approaching this question. And then the second one is why this program? All right. So why this program? That is where you are about to share your experience and or a problem you've identified and how student affairs in higher education or higher education and student affairs program, SAHI or HESA, or some schools even they capture it as college student personnel. Some schools will also say student counseling and all those things. So it's kind of related. So how would this program equip you with the skills and knowledge needed to deal with that kind of issue that you have identified? So make sure that you connect it to your SOP, like I said, because just imagine that in your statement of purpose, you wrote that you face a certain kind of challenge while in college or while at a university, and that kind of challenge is what is leading you to become a student affairs professional, to join, to work with students and all those things. And now you are talking about and then in an interview you change your answer and you are saying that you are trying to join student affairs because Bennett is doing student affairs and you think you can also do it, so you want to be there. That means it's conflicted with what you've written in your statement of purpose. So why this program go back to your statement of purpose, whatever you wrote in it, make sure that you say the same thing. What is pushing you to student affairs, whatever you wrote in your statement of purpose, make sure that you say the same thing in your during the interview. Do not change what you said or what you wrote in the statement of purpose. Why this program? Some people even go to Google and then Google like why this program, then they'll just Google stuff. Then they just give an answer and it will be very vague, very generic. I'm interested in this particular program because the program focuses on because the program will equip me with the skills needed in my future career and all those things. Those kind of answers are very vague and it is not specific. So whatever you wrote in your statement of purpose, reiterate the same thing, repeat the same thing. You can elaborate it, you can even add more, but make sure that it is centralized on your whatever reason why you are coming to Sahi in your statement of purpose. Then second question too you should expect is why this university? So why this university is that where you are going to talk about, you focus on the specific things that are drawing you to the program. That this particular moment you're supposed to give clear examples of each item you mentioned. For example, why this university? You are supposed to focus on what the university provide or what the program, how the program is structured, and then the things the program offers, the things the program offers, or the kind of opportunities the program offers, which you will not get it anywhere. One thing that you should know is that higher education here in the US, or Sahi programs or HESA programs here in the US, almost all in the US, all over the place, all schools, it is focused on social justice, personal reflection, and professional development. That's what we call theory to practice. So this is something that you want to focus on when you are answering your question. And this is the best time for you to share professors you've researched, from professors you've read, a post you saw on the social media platform of the program that you're applying to, or associations on campus that will support your academic journey in that university. And let me just give you just a brief, let me try to answer this question for you. And like I said, this is a public document, this is a public space. So while I'm trying to share my experience, my answers, and all that, you also try to think deep and then create your own answer. I remember interviewing for Colorado, one of the universities. I'll not mention the name. I was about to mention, but you had Colorado, so you got add the rest. So I remember interviewing for one of the schools, and then they asked me why this university. And my answer was that I chose this particular university because of three things. That the first one is the programs for, why this university? And then I said I chose this particular university for student affairs and higher education because of the program structure, and then the focus of the program on three basic things, three main things, which is number one, social justice, the second one, personal reflection, and then professional development. I am a very deep advocate for social justice, and I truly value social justice because I believe that students, irrespective of who they are, their sexual orientation, how they identify, they should be given equal opportunities, and then they shouldn't be discriminated based on how they identify. And I also value this particular. I also chose this particular university for student affairs and higher education because of the opportunity for professional development. And I give an example that, for instance, I was following the Instagram page of this particular blah 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 University of ABC, and I saw a presentation, a conference presentation that I mentioned a particular student's name who did a presentation at the ACPA conference, and it was posted on that particular university's Instagram page. So I mentioned the name of that particular student that I saw the presentation this particular student did on the 2022 ACPA conference, and And I think this is an opportunity. I would also love to grow in the program and all that, because this shows that the program cares about professional development, and they don't only teach the theory, but they ensure that they create opportunity for students to practice whatever they are learning in class. So this is an opportunity I would also like to immerse myself in. And then the last one is personal reflection, because I want to use my own experiences, the challenges I went through while I was in college, to reflect upon it and use it to support students in the future. So I talk about these things, giving practical examples, and then using my own experience as an example and all that. And the program, Student Affairs in Higher Education program at the university I applied to, it is clearly stated on their website that the program focuses on social justice, personal reflection, and professional development. So that was what I was also interested in. So I stated the main thing that the program focuses on, and then I gave clear examples that, for instance, professional development, I'm interested in it, and I've seen that you are even doing it. And that is why I saw a student in your program making a presentation at ACPA and all those things. So that means that you provided that kind of opportunity for that student to present over there. And this is what I also love to, this is the kind of opportunity I'm also looking for and all that. So make sure that you give clear and typical examples. If you've read a research from a professor, so if there is a professor in the program who focuses more on social justice, and that kind of professor have written a lot of research papers or articles in social justice, you can capitalize on that one, that I'm interested in social justice, and I've even got the opportunity to read some articles or some publication from Professor ABC on so and so, so and so, so and so. That means that this professor cares about social justice, and it will be an opportunity for someone like me who also is interested in social justice and learning more about it, to learn from this professor and then try to do what he does, or something like that. So make sure that you connect your experience, what you are looking for, to someone in the program who is already doing that. Create that kind of connection, all right? And that is how we answer this particular university. So do not just make it very vague, but be specific on the things you are looking for. And then the third one, the fourth one is on current trends in higher education. So they can ask you questions like, what are some of the current trends in higher education, or what are some of the pertinent issues facing higher education these days, or something like that, related to current trends and issues regarding higher ed. Make sure that you start by, mind you, higher education in the US is different from higher education in your home country, all right? And this particular movement, or this particular question, they are trying to find out whether you are someone who loves to read, who loves to research, who loves to learn new things, even out of your zone and all that. So when they ask you about current trends in higher education, start by mentioning your familiarity with trends and trends of within in the US higher education through some website or some platforms that you've learned. So for instance, you can talk about the Chronicles of Higher Ed. In case you do not know, you can jot them down, go read them later. Chronicles of Higher Ed. We have Inside Higher Ed, we have Times Higher Education, we have the ACP and NAPSPA website. So you talk about all of them, and then you finish talking about your familiarity with those kind of websites and what you've read about it. Then you kind of connect it, or you proceed by talking about a trend or how it connects with something in Ghana or in Nigeria or in your country, all right? Wherever you're watching me from, you try to connect what you talked about to something similar in your home country. So this will prove to them that you are very analytical, you are very resourceful, you are somebody who loves to research. So let me give you a typical example of how to approach this particular question. I am trying so hard to remember what I said and share with you, because sharing is caring. During my time when they asked me about current trends in higher education, this was how I approach it. I said that, yes, I'm very familiar with some of the things happening in the US regarding higher education. Quite recently, I read about an article in the Chronicles of Higher Ed regarding Professor Claudine Gay, who was the Harvard president for Harvard University. You know, she was facing anti-Semitism and challenges due to her blackness, and I was following that kind of issue. I was also even I also listen to some podcasts from the Student Affairs Now podcast and read articles from Inside Higher Ed and all that. So just to familiarize myself with some of the things or current trends in the US. But I would like to stick to Ghana because I've had almost all my education from primary to the university in Ghana. So I can talk more about Ghana and connect it to what happens in the US. Here in Ghana, one of the major challenges facing higher education is falling graduation rate. And this falling graduation rate means that people who enter university at the end of the 4 years, if 1,000 people enter the university at the end of the 4 years, only 500 people will graduate. And this kind of challenge is because of high cost of, high cost of tuition in Ghana. And unlike the US, where we have trial programs, graduate assistantships, scholarship, fellowship grants to support students, in Ghana, we do not have anything like that. It is survival of the fittest, from application, from paying of application fees, from hostel fees, all those things you're supposed to pay from your pocket. We do not have any kind of support. So if a student attend university in the first year and the family is unable to provide for that kind of student in the second year or third year, that students have no option than to drop out. And this is a major challenge that we are facing. And that is what to me is a pertinent issue that I would love to address. And becoming a student affairs professional will equip me with the skills, knowledge needed to come back home when I graduate. And if possible, start an NGO, solicit for funds to support some of these students, or maybe team up with the Ministry of Education to see how best we can make some policies to support these kind of students, and then or make higher education accessible to all, irrespective of your background, where you are, whether you come from a low income family or you come from a high earning income family. So this is a challenge that I have identified. This is a current issue facing higher education in Ghana. I would love to share with you right now. So I'm trying so hard to remember what I said because it's been like a while, but at least I'm giving you a fair idea of what I said or how I answered this kind of question. I'm sure that if you followed keenly, you can also craft something out of what I just said, and whether it makes sense or not, I don't know. So the next one is how do you manage multiple roles? That is the next question which you should expect. And this kind of question too, you should expect it in a graduate assistantship interview, not only for admission interview. So with a graduate assistantship, with how do you manage multiple roles? Because sometimes you'll be a student and at the same time you're a graduate assistant. At the same time, maybe you're a husband, you're a wife, or you have a girlfriend, you have a boyfriend, you have your personal life, you have your social life, you have everything. So the point is, how do you manage multiple roles? All right. So they would want to find out how you do that. So what you're supposed to do is to start by talking about prioritization. This is how you approach that question, doing what is urgent first, and then you move ahead by talking about setting boundaries for yourself, and then you talk about using technology such as Google Calendar, Outlook, we have Notion and all those things, and even the normal calendar on your phone. Then you proceed by talking about self-care, releasing stress, and listening to music just to refresh yourself after a hard day's work. All right. So when they ask you how do you manage multiple roles, you just talk about, oh, I manage multiple roles by setting prioritizing. That is setting making sure that I address all the important issues first before I move on to any other issue that is not pertinent or that is not urgent for me to address. And I also try to set boundaries for myself and list all the things that I would like to do or like to achieve within a particular time frame, and the things that I would like to stay off within that time frame too. And I use Google Calendar, I use Outlook to help me to help me set up my everything, or to help me to remind me, to set reminders for every single thing that I want to do, so that I'll not be overwhelmed, or in case I forget, my calendar will remind me. And after hard day's work, after everything, I make sure that I take care of myself, try to listen to music. I'm a big fan of R&B. I'm a big fan of hip hop. I'm a big fan of whatever. And I listen to this kind of, just to refresh me, just to refresh my memory, just to refresh me, just to calm me down, for to focus on whatever is ahead of me or something like that. So this is just to give you an overview, but the main things that you should focus on when answering this kind of question is to talk about prioritization, which is a key thing you should talk about, and then setting boundaries for yourself. So there are times that your WhatsApp should go off. There are times you don't answer calls. There are times you have to put do not disturb and all those things. So you can share all these things and then talk about technology. Those are the main things they are looking for in, as an answer. And you don't want to leave these things out, So yeah. And then, like I said earlier, student affairs program focuses more on diversity and then social justice. So sometimes they will ask you, what does DI? When we say DI, I saw Chamaka explain that. Thank you, Chamaka. That is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then social justice. So when they can ask you a question like, what does DI and social justice mean to you? All right. So this is where you have to briefly talk about the meaning of DI and social justice, and that is ensuring equitable access and opportunities for everyone, irrespective of how they identify, that is their sexual orientation, disability, race, justice, social class, etc. Ensuring equal opportunity for them, or for everybody, or giving access irrespective of all those kind of identifiers. That is DI. So you have to explain that to whoever is interviewing you, the professor interviewing you, to appreciate that you know what DI means and you know what social justice means. All right. Then you want to emphasize your connection, or why it is important to you as an individual. So emphasize why it is important to you, and then something you've done previously. So if you've done something previously related to student social justice, or related to diversity, or promoting equality, promoting inclusion, you can share. This is the best time for you to share that particular thing. And then make sure that you also reiterate your strong commitment to social justice, or diversity, equity, and inclusion. All right. So this is something that I can't give you an answer. I can't craft an answer for you, but I've given you the overview, what they expect. So the main thing is they want to understand how you approach this kind of topic, which is very, very sensitive. You move to the US. I pray that all of you move and your prayer, this thing come to pass. But when you get to the US, before you realize how diversity, equity, and inclusion and social justice mean, when you are back home in Ghana, you will not appreciate it that much. So when they ask you a question about DI and then social justice, you don't want to joke with it. You have to emphasize that this is something that is so dear to me. This is something very important to me. This is something that I really appreciate, and this is something that I would love to, become part of it, become an advocate, and all those things. So make sure that you talk about all those things. And then they can also ask you a question regarding your future plans or your postgraduate plan. So they can ask you, what is your future plan? What is your postgraduate plan? So talk about a career you would love to pursue, and how the program will prepare you for that. So, for instance, in student affairs, we have a lot of areas or fields such as academic advising, residence director, graduate admissions, orientation. There are a lot of them, all right? So just look at what you want to do and then connect it to the program. So this way you can talk about, I want to become an academic advisor in order to help students, provide individualized support for students for them to achieve the academic success. And I have gone through the curriculum of this particular program, and I've seen courses like maybe A, B, C, D. You mentioned some courses which is related to what you want to do. And then I've seen courses like this, and I'm sure that this particular courses in this program will help me to achieve that. And in addition to that, the professor's experience, you can talk about a certain kind of research, professors have done, and with their number of years or experience they have in the program, you think you are in the right program, you think they can prepare you, they can shape you, they can help you achieve that kind of dream. So that is how we talk about postgraduate plan and all that. So the next one will be, do you have any question for us? By the way, can you all hear me? It seems I'm the one talking.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, sure. Because I feel so lonely over here. I've been talking all this while. Anyways.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. All right. So do you have any questions for us? The point, never say you don't have a question. As soon as you say you don't have a question, trust me, don't expect anything from them. You have denied yourself. You have denied yourself. All right. Make sure that you ask a question, at least 3 questions. Make sure you ask questions, because my professor will say that no question is a bad question. All right. So ask 3 important questions. You can ask very thoughtful question that will push the professor to think, this is deep. Don't just come and ask, do you have funding? Do you no,
Which
ask
is
us
an
like
important question, by the way, but don't ask it during the interview day.
don't ask do you have funding? Do you have international students in your school? Do you have all those things? Come on, I mean, they are not competitive enough. And when other people, if no one is asking important questions, then maybe you can go through with that. But if others are coming in with thought-provoking questions and all that, then trust me, you will be sidelined. So I put 3 important questions here. Let me go back to my disclaimer again that this is a public document now, so do not go dab the same thing and then wherever you go, because we don't know. So make sure that you can craft something out of it, or you can own it and reshape, change the words, put it in your own way. I don't have a problem if you use it. I'm not going to charge you for plagiarism. You can take it for free, but mind you, if you are about 4 people applying to a particular school and you're all saying the same thing, it's all like, I mean, where are these people coming from? What did they eat? So the first question is, as an international student, you can ask a question like, as an international student, I want to study in an environment where I'll feel comfortable, welcome, and understood. Are there specific initiatives or resources to support international students in this particular program? You can ask a question like that, which is a very good question. You can also ask, I have read some of your publications and articles on topics like, then you mention particular topic or articles you've read, all right? And then you talk about, oh, I recently read your work on, because sometimes professors collaborate with other people, all right? So you can get a professor. So for instance, I can collaborate with Chiamaka to do a research on something. So you can even share that, oh, I read your research paper on this particular thing, you mentioned the topic, and I even read the one you did with Chiamaka, so and so. So that tells the whoever interviewing you that you've done a lot of research, you've read about the program. You are not considering the program as an option. So if this one doesn't work, then I'll come to this one. But you really want to be there, and you've taken time to do in-depth and research about it. You want to be there, like you are really praying to be there. And those are the kind of people they are looking for. All right. So you talk about, I read your research on this. I recently read your work in this particular, the one you did with so and so. And then you go down saying that with your many years of experience working in diverse areas, supporting students, what advice do you have for me as an individual who is about to walk on a path that you've been treading for many years? So this is a very good question that you've read about the research, you've read about what they are doing to support students, you are impressed, and you also want to do the same thing. And how can you do that? What kind of advice does he have for you, or do they have for you? This is a very good question that you would want to ask them. And it puts you on that kind of like they keep thinking, because trust me, I asked this question and no one was able to give me a very good answer. Like all the schools I interviewed for, because they didn't even expect that kind of question, that there is someone who has read, dig them like an investigative journalist, dig they do all the investigation, all the papers and publications they've read, and they've written and all that, and someone is about to ask them, with maybe your many years of experience, what will you say or to an individual who is about to tread this kind of journey? They couldn't give me a very good answer, but when you are interviewing and they ask you to ask questions, you're asking questions as part of the interview, but the answer, whether it is good or not, you accept it that way. So the third one too is that I care so much about DI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and would like to gain more knowledge and experience in that field and subsequently pursue a career in relation to that. Are there opportunities to specialize in certain areas within student affairs like DI in the program? So you can ask about specialization in the program, whatever you would love to do in future or whatever. You can ask whether there are opportunities for you to specialize in that. So that also tells them that you already have a future plan, you already have a specialization, you have something you want to do already. So student affairs is not an option you are just considering, but you really want to be in that kind of field, and they will just, it's a very good question. And don't ask a lot of questions to the, at least ask about just 3 questions, and don't stretch it. Don't, if a professor is not able, like, give you the answer you're looking for, don't say, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Don't argue with them, please. Just whatever answer they give, you just take it that way, and then you just move on to your next question. And always make sure you end. I said in the beginning that make sure before the interview starts, you appreciate them, you thank them for making time out of their busy schedule to interview you. Now, this is the last question that I have for you, which is, do you have any, this is the last tip, do you have any questions for us? And I'm ending my session now for Chiamaka to take over, but please end with appreciation for their time. So the professor, if you don't have any questions, is there any other thing or something else that you want me to talk about? He said, no, I am okay. You've talked about everything, but I just want to say thank you very much for your time. I know how busy you are, and I appreciate you making time for this kind of interview. And it's something I truly value. I've learned a lot. The answer you gave me regarding, the initiatives or resources for international students is something I was really expecting, because I want to blah, 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 and all those things. So thank you very, very much. I am very, very grateful for your time. I do appreciate it so much. Thank you. So you have to show appreciation, and it speaks very good well of you. And it shows how nice you are. And they are human beings. Being nice to someone can win their heart. All right. So just show appreciation and be nice. Okay. And then the last one, then I hand over to Professor Chiamaka to continue from Graduate Assistantship, is send a thank you email. You did all those things. Like I said, you showed appreciation beginning, and then at the end of it too, you are showing appreciation. But after the interview, make sure that you send a thank you email. Do not wait for 24 hours to do that. So before I even interviewed, I have already crafted my thank you email before I went in for any interview. So the thank you email is just waiting. As soon as I finish, I'll send it. That's how I am. So I leave spaces. So for example, I gave you a template here that, dear Dr. Lu, I am writing to thank you for making time for our interview. I truly enjoyed our conversation and learning more about then you put the program name over there and the exciting professional opportunities it offers. Your insight into the program have further reinforced my interest in pursuing my academic and research goals then you mentioned the university name. I greatly appreciate your insights on. So this is where, if there is a question you asked, for instance, like we talk about the resources for international students, or maybe specialization in the program, or whatever question, or the advice that you asked about during the questions, you can say that I greatly appreciate your insight on, then you put it over there. And I am eager to potentially join the dynamic and inspiring community at University of blah, blah, blah. So please let me know if you need any information from me, which is very, very important. Maybe after interviewing you, they still need something from you. So you have to do follow up that. Please let me know if you need any information from me, and I will gladly provide. Then you say, thanks for your time. Thanks again for your time. and making the interview process such a positive experience. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Sincerely, Kakum. So that is how we go about it. And then we just if you're able to do all these things, make sure that you go through every single thing that I said. I think you should be one of the top candidates for the program that you're applying for. So at this point, I will bring my session to a close.